Hello, everyone, and welcome. I see we got Art Blade here early today. Very good. Good to see you, Art. Big Pete's here. Hello. Let's see. Hmm. MPK is here. Hello. Cedric M. Hello. Good to see you guys. Tanya Bell. Hello. Blaha Anderson. Hello. Gabriel Babel's here. Hey, Gabriel. Glad you could make it. So we've been sharing lots of cool art over on the Discords. That's been pretty fun. MPK just put up a cool image of how he pictures Hans from Portal Wars looking. Anthem Morris here. Hello. Rick James says he's a huge fan. Thanks very much for that. Glad you could make it. So it's been a pretty crazy week. I'm just about done with my taxes finally. I should finish those next week, which is a relief. Let's see. Cedric M says, the last series was amazing. Will you be adding more to the series or working on the Portal Wars? Right now, I'm working on a spin-off trilogy set in the world of the Portal Wars. It's set in Coltsland, right a few years after the Chamber of Eternity. Let's see. The new Aegis of Merlin book is at the editors. I'll probably get that back sometime next week. When I finish the book I'm working on now, which is the last book of the trilogy, I'm thinking I'm going to do another one in my sci-fi series. So that'll be the fifth book in that series, and I think I'll wrap up the Children of the Void arc. So that should be a fun one to do. Let's see. Prometheus D says, thanks for posting all the amazing stories. I love the Portal Wars so much and can't wait for new content. Awesome. I'm glad to hear you liked it. Mr. Turbo Bastard says, please tell me Hans is in the new series. Orders, my lord. No, unfortunately, Hans won't be in the new trilogy. It's set on the other continent, so he's across the ocean with Otto and the guys. This is a whole new cast, pretty much. So it's been fun to write. It's always nice to to explore some new characters in a familiar setting. Not sure how it's going to end though. I still got 50 or 60,000 more words to write. So Cedric M says, awesome. Can't wait to read them. Okay, good. Glad you're looking forward to it. These books will probably take a little bit. They might be my big release for the first part of next year. I don't even have covers or anything for them yet, and they still have to go through the editor and go to Joe for recording. So that's always a bit of a thing. So Mr. Turbo says, what are you sipping on? Tasty ale, I hope. No, just water. I don't drink alcohol. Is not my cup of tea. So Mary McCallum says, love your book. Oh, that's awesome, Mary. Thank you. I'm glad you could stop by the live stream. Let's see. Gabriel Battle says, I started listening to a lit RPG called Terra Nova. Just started, but looks really long. I'm not familiar with Terra Nova. Are you listening on YouTube or on Audible, or where are you getting your books from? I found I found some classic Shadow episodes when I was scrolling through YouTube the other night. Um, those are fun to listen to sometimes. The audio isn't fantastic because it was recorded back in, I think, the 20s. But at least it's in the public domain, so you don't have to worry about copyright, that you're stealing somebody's stuff or somebody's stealing somebody's stuff and posting it. So that's always a plus. Let's see. Gabriel says Audible. It's in the Plus catalog, or the first 2 books are. Oh, okay, good. Logan Chase says, "Hey James, you're a hero." Well, I'm just a writer, but I appreciate the kind words. Anthem Moore says you should look up Razor Fist. He did a Shadow book too. Oh, yeah, I like Razor Fist. He's one of my regular channels I listen to. I enjoy his rants. I think they're quite amusing. MPK says Otto is king. Hope we hear about what he's up to in the sequel. Otto's not in the spinoff, but I wrote a 20,000 word sort of bridge book that gets you between the Chamber of Eternity and this new trilogy. And Otto makes a bit of a short appearance in that. So, Blala says, did you ever read Jack Vance? The Demon Prince series is one of my favorites. Yeah, I've got the Demon Princes on one of those shelves over there. Yeah, that was a good series. I enjoyed it. I think it's 5 books. Gabriel says, a darn good writer, not just a writer. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's definitely a matter of who you ask. Just look at the negative reviews. They say if you're a writer and you ever want to feel better about yourself, is you go to Amazon and look up your favorite book you've ever read, and then read all the 1-star reviews, and you'll realize it's just a matter of taste. Logan Chase says, no, man, I had to order a new debit card and my Audible payment bounced. The books you have on YouTube held me over. Now I'm a fan. Well, that's good. I actually make more on my YouTube ad revenue than I do from Audible. So I'm glad people are choosing to listen on here. It's also a great way to find new readers. They can try it for free, and then if they like it, they can send me some, a donation or buy a book or whatever they want to do. I'm just, I think, 150-ish subscribers short of 1,500, so that'll be a cool milestone when I get to it. It's really, I've been surprised how fast the subscriber count has climbed. I've been getting like 1,000 or 1,200 a month, so that's quite cool. Let's see. Oh, some sad news. I don't know if you guys saw or not, but the guy that plays the front desk clerk in John Wick died yesterday. That was kind of depressing. I thought he was quite a good actor. I had no idea he was in his 60s. MPK says, I hear that Audible is a really bad platform for creators. Yeah, it's not great. I might start delaying my releases on Audible. Maybe go like 6 months, after they're out before I put them on Audible. But we'll see. Prometheus says, nice, can't wait to read or rather listen to the spin-off series. Will we get a continuation of the Portal Wars and what became of Otto, Wulfric, Hans, and the gang? I'm dying for that. I've got a vague idea for a book. I'm hoping I can get to it late this year, but I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't want to make any promises because I know if I make promises, people will be, expecting it, and then I might not get to it, and then I don't want to disappoint anyone. Gabriel says, I've never seen the appeal of taking over the world or why so many characters are obsessed with it. Makes a good story, sure, but all the admin work once you get there must be terrible. Yeah, that's what your lackeys are for. Once you rule the world, you're free to contemplate the force and let your governors take care of the day-to-day stuff. At least that was the emperor's plan. I liked. I don't know if you guys follow DC Comics at all, but Darkseid's plan for taking over the world was where he basically could just control everyone's mind and make them all do what they want, what he wanted. So there was no, nobody could resist him. So there was no need to worry about all the details. He just said everybody behave, and they all behaved. Anthem Ward says, I think the villain from the Swan Princess said it best. Once you steal or conquer something, you spend your whole life fighting to keep it. Yeah. But once you have, even if you don't steal it or conquer it, if there's something you value, you still spend your whole life fighting to keep it. So that's sort of not 100%, right, but that's definitely one way to look at it. I suppose if you want to be relaxed, you shouldn't get too attached to anything in particular. That way, if you lose it, you're not, heartbroken. Of course, villains in general tend to be very obsessed about whatever they're obsessed with, whether it's taking over the world or being the most powerful wizard or, killing the hero or whatever it is. Of course, some of my heroes get obsessed too, so. Let's see. Darkseid is a space communist person's something. Big P says, do you allow current events to influence your storytelling? Not too much. I try and keep up on the news, but I suppose everything they say everything you see or read, influences what you do. So I try to keep it subtle and not, beat anyone over the head with anything you might consider, a modern idea. Kind of kills the immersion in the fantasy world if you keep sticking modern stuff in it. Traven Bank says, have you ever read the Darren Shan books? I have not. I hadn't even heard of them. Is Darren Shan the author or the main character or something else? But yeah, no, I haven't read them. But there's so many books out there that I haven't gotten to. Gabriel says, really, though, the difference between a hero and a villain is a matter of perspective. No villain thinks they're the villain after all. Most think they're the heroes. Yeah, that's true. That's the key to writing a good villain is to always remember that he doesn't think he's the villain. Prometheus says, Cirque du Freak series. He means... I'm not sure. Ever read King's Dark Tidings series? I feel like you would really go crazy with some of the concepts in the series. King's Dark Tidings. No, I haven't read that one either. Traven Bank says that Darren Shan was the author. I see. I don't know if you're in our Discord, but we have a section for book recommendations. It'd be great if everybody who is interested could post in there. It makes them a lot easier to find. It can be hard to hunt stuff down in the comments and live chat and stuff on these videos. So Tanya Bell says Darren Shan was my idol through high school. Prometheus says they made that movie, The Vampire's Assistant, a while back. That's the Darren Shan series I meant. The Vampire's Assistant. I think I've heard of that, but I don't know. It's been a while. Is it a recent movie or an older one? I can't remember. Logan Chase Discord. You say, yeah. The link is in the description of this video, or it should be. So if you wanna join, you'd be more than welcome. I pop in a few times a day whenever a comment or whatever pops up. I have the app on my iPad and I get notifications, so I try and respond and answer questions. And I've been sharing character art and stuff, so that's been a lot of fun. Prometheus says it had John C. Reilly in it, older. Oh, I'll have to look it up. I like vampire movies. PK says, I like villains that know they're the villain. People who are evil for shits and giggles. Some versions of the Joker are good examples. Yeah, that can be fun too. Art Blade on it as always with the Discord server link. Thanks, Art. Appreciate it. John T says, enjoying the Discord. The shared art is great. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. Logan Chase already there. Reaper 4 on Discord. Okay, good. Good. Yeah, the live streams are fun, but I find I really enjoy just popping in and out of the Discord as the day, off and on during the day. It's nice to just chat with people and text, without having to be on steady for a whole hour. So it makes a nice change of pace. Of course, this is fun too, because I get the sort of immediacy of, chatting with you guys and seeing whatever you're talking about. So that's all fun. Let's see. Prometheus says the series was Cirque du Freak, the Vampire's Assistant. Cirque du Freak. I think I saw that pop up maybe on Amazon Prime. I'll have to check it tonight. But yeah, there's so many series that look interesting. I just bought the new Overlord light novel. It comes out the 21st, but I pre-ordered it so it'd show up as soon as it came out. I'm reading Spirit Chronicles number 21 right now. That's really good. Let's see. Sci-Fi Nerd 1911. Hi, Jane. Hi, good to see you. Glad you could make it. Oh, I just remembered. Like I said before, I think it was last week. I haven't forgotten about the cow salad dressing, but in this series I'm working on now, the horses are made of are mechanical, so they don't get any salad dressing. Jim P says, "Don't do live stuff. Love your stories, top lad." Well, thanks. PK says, I also like main characters that don't see themselves as the hero. They have a goal and their only focus is to achieve that. I think that's why I love Otto so much. Yeah, Otto's definitely focused. Of course, he got distracted a few times, but generally he stays pretty focused. He's gotten kind of unfocused since the end of the Sanguine Scroll. Nothing like achieving your goal to become the most powerful wizard to kind of shake your focus. PK says he's a breath of fresh air. Oh, good. Yeah, he's definitely been, I think, my most popular main character that I've done. Although Joran was a lot of fun to write. He's quite a bit different character from Otto. Let's see. Yeah. Oh. Logan Chase says most relatable for sure. Yeah, sort of. He definitely had a bit of a rough time at the start, but actually, he had a pretty rough time through the whole thing up until. Did he ever not have a rough time? Actually, I guess he had a pretty rough time through the whole series. But if the hero doesn't have a rough time, it gets boring. So. Let's see. Logan Chase says it's really cool that you do this, like a meet and greet, but more convenient. Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking. I really like. I think it was Big Pete that said it was like going to the local pub and chatting with your friends. At least that's the vibe I go for in these. So. Gabriel says, I like Joran better than Otto. Probably an unpopular opinion, though. No, I've actually had a few people who didn't like Otto tell me that they like Joran better. He's more of a traditional good guy hero rather than an anti-hero like Otto. So it really depends, I guess, what you're into. So all opinions are equally valid. Tanya Bell says, I keep going back to Otto. His was the first story I found, and it's a personal favorite now. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. PK says, I just started the Soulbound Saga, and I like it so far. Joran is a nice character, too. Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Blah, 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 huh? Who were your favorite authors growing up, and what inspired you to start writing? My favorite authors growing up were Terry Brooks, and his book, The Sword of Shannara, is the book that made me want to be an author. I read all the Shannara books. I love the Forgotten Realms novels, the TSR ones. The Dragonlance books, all the Dungeons and Dragons novelizations were great. Let's see. Trying to remember. I read so many. I liked some of the old time science fiction stuff, like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I like the Star Wars Expanded Universe. I think that started when I was in freshman year of high school or something like that. I read all those. Let's see. Prometheus says Otto was an interesting protagonist in that he's the antagonist to everyone else in his world who's not Garenlanders. Yeah, that's certainly true. Logan Chase says, that's most of us. Nobody's having a great time, and we all try to make the best out of it. And we might not be able to do the exact right thing some of the time. Yeah, ain't that the truth? We definitely all just have to do our best. Prometheus says, and definitely thank you so much for doing this for the fans who love your work. Oh, for sure. That's why I do these live streams, to hang out with you guys once a week and see what's up. I'm very impressed personally. I couldn't do it, but with people like Ethan Van Sciver and some of the other people who do live streams more often, I don't know how they do it. If I had to live stream as often as they do, I wouldn't get anything else done. Gabriel says, I do like Otto, just like, I think you mean just like Joran better is all. Yeah, you said that right below. Prometheus says, also, Cirque du Freak is a great series. Better book than movie, like usual. Yeah, isn't that the... It seems like maybe 95% of the time the book is better. Once in a while not, but... Gabriel says, I can't seem to type properly today. Yeah, I have days like that. Sometimes I'll switch to dictation when I can't seem to type. Prometheus says, a real Percy Jackson situation. Yeah, I've actually completely given up, more or less, on watching TV shows and movies that are based on books I like. It's just not worth the aggravation anymore. And PK says, what do you think about fan fiction? It can be fun. As long as you don't try and make money off of somebody else's IP, and you're just writing it for fun, I don't see it being a problem. I'm not even going to try and say that. IS says, just checking in to say hi to everyone. Oh, good, thanks. I'm glad you could stop in. Blaha says, Michael Moorcock for me. I never learned how to write though. I read a lot of Michael Moorcock after I graduated, and I read him in college. I'm a huge Elric fan. He was one of my favorite characters. ISP says, would you continue the Squire story, or is that done? If I got an idea for a sequel, I might write it, but for now it's done. Gabriel says, I grew up reading Star Wars novels. I credit them with me being able to read because until I found them in a few genres I liked, reading was boring to me. Yeah, I'm the same. Once I found that epic fantasy was a thing and I didn't just have to read the junk the English teachers assigned me, that's when I really started to read a lot and got it. Then I read so much. I wanted to start writing, so it all worked out well for me. Let's see. Logan Chase says, R.I.P. Game of Thrones. Yeah, I never watched Game of Thrones. I read the first. I thought it was George releases his book so slow. I bought the first 4 and I checked the publication date and I thought it was done. He hadn't published anything in years. I'm like, well, this series must be done. And I started reading and suddenly I find out it's not done. And I was very disappointed. I'm not reading any more of his books until the series is done, assuming it ever gets done. Prometheus says, considering that's how movie makers really mess up. Yeah, doing adaptations of books. It's tough. I feel bad for the people making the movies too. I mean, you gotta make something that works on screen. Plus, you have to make the fans of the books happy. It's definitely a tough balancing act. Logan Chase says, cue all the horny soulbound fan fiction. Yeah. If you're going to do that, just don't let me know about it. I really don't want to know. John D says, I really like Cole as a main character. Would love to see him revisited. Yeah, I definitely might at some point. We'll see. One of the things I want to do, maybe it might be a second half of the year project, is I want to build a subscription business where I write like the rough draft live so people can read along as I do it. And then if I get enough people where I can just write whatever I want, I was thinking I might do polls, like give 3 options for my next project and let everybody who's a subscriber vote. Like, hey, what do you want me to do, this, or this? And whatever they pick, I would just write live and they could follow along. I thought that might be a fun thing. And then it'd be nice to get to a place where I didn't have to, worry about how something would sell before I wrote it. So we'll see how that goes. MPK says, also, I'm curious now, can you make a poll on YouTube or Discord? I'm curious which one of your characters are people's favorites. Either Ametsa or Hans for me. I think I can do a poll on YouTube. Maybe I'll do both. I'll see what people say. Tanya Bell says, Lord of the Rings was my obsession in the day. I do Lord of the Rings marathon once a month, and my coworkers and I have Lord of the Ring chat meet every Thursday. Oh, I like Lord of the Rings, but the first time I tried to read it, I think it was in junior year of high school, and it was so boring. I only made it like 80 pages in, and I just had to quit. And then when I was a little bit older and more patient, I finally made it through, and I really enjoyed it. Oh, I almost forgot. Do you guys chat live or online? Your Lord of the Rings chat. Sounds like it might be fun. MPK says Darth Plagueis was my favorite Star Wars novel. James Lucerno is a great author. His descriptions are so surreal. Yeah, I read Darth Plagueis. That was very good. My favorite Star Wars novel, probably the Darth Bane books, maybe. I also like the Old Republic books with well, I can't think of his name, but Darth Malik, I think, maybe. But don't quote me on that. I can't remember all their names. Tanya Bell says I'm all for that. Okay, that's one per potential subscriber. Outstanding. Thanks very much. Mark Farpery says, how did your Kickstarter effort turn out? I just started reading your book when it was ending. I did okay. I did about $2,000, I guess. So I was happy with it. I invested all my profits in more copies of my books. You can see some of them way over on the side for inventory, and I'm slowly adding them to an Etsy store so I can sell signed copies. I've been posting links to each individual book under the YouTube video. So if somebody says, hey, I really like that and I'd like a signed copy, they can just go down and click and buy a copy off my Etsy store. So that's the plan anyway. Gabriel says, I could never get into Game of Thrones because a lot of it was shot around this part of Northern Ireland in the early seasons. Breaks the immersion when I recognize places. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool, though. I remember, I don't know if you watch her, but there's a YouTuber named Diane Jennings. She's from Ireland. And she said she tried out for a part in Game of Thrones when they were filming it. I don't think she got it, though. Wonder Bubbles, hi from Montana. Hey, Wonder Bubbles, glad you could make it. It's great to see you. Rick James says Brandon Sanderson, I'm assuming was one of his favorites, so that's cool. Logan Chase says, have you ever heard of the Society for Creative Anachronism? I got involved a while back and it would be a great place for you to advertise. I also think you might enjoy it as a hobby. No, I've never heard of that, but is it like, do they have a website or something? I might check it out. Tanya Bell says we meet in person. Online chat sounds more convenient, though. I'll bring it to the table to the next meeting. MPK says Valkorion is my favorite Star Wars character. Who's yours? Oh, that's tough. Probably Revan. One of my favorite Star Wars games of all time was the first Knights of the Old Republic, where you get to play as Revan. So yeah, I would definitely say either Revan or Darth Bane are probably my favorites. From the movies and the TV shows, my favorite by far is Darth Maul. I think he's, especially with what the Clone Wars did for him, I think he's just about the coolest. They made him a really good character. He was kind of a dud. I mean, he was cool with his entrance and everything, but he wasn't on long enough to really get to know him. But what they did with him in the Clone Wars, I was very impressed. Marcus Samoa is here. Hello, Marcus. Glad you can make it. MPK says Revan is epic. Yes, Revan is definitely epic. They actually did a book. One of the expanded universe books is Darth Revan. So If you haven't read it, gives you kind of a cool look into his life and backstory and stuff. Gabriel Badwolf says, one of my cousin's friends got an extra part because they were filming on their land. Their son drove around the producers and stuff as well. He didn't even have a license to drive. Ooh, that sounds a little sketchy. But yeah, that's cool. I don't think they've ever filmed anything around my area. I thought at first that they might. Do you remember the film Lake Placid, where the alligator was living in the lake, and I think it was Maine? I thought that was going to be filmed in my area because the town of Lake Placid is just a little ways from me. But it didn't have anything to do with our area, so that was kind of disappointing, actually. Logan Chase says, posted the link in the Discord for when you want to check it out. Oh, awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll check it out a little bit later, but I appreciate you posting it there. So if anybody else wants to take a look, you can totally do that. Sharky Sharkum says, hey, my friend, no questions for now, just saying hi. Hi, Sharky. I'm glad to see you stopped in. It's always great to see your name pop up in the chat, so that's cool. Big Pete says, I was living in New Zealand at the time of Lord of the Rings. I think they just finished by the time I got there. 03 or 04, I think. Just missed it anyways, and I was gutted. I couldn't try out for a rider from Rohan, LOL. Yeah, very cool. There's a mystery series set in New Zealand that my mom used to like to watch. And every once in a while they would mention something about the Lord of the Rings sets. Or something involving that would pop up just as a, like a background thing for the mystery. So that's I didn't know you were a horseback rider, Pete. So that's kind of cool to find out. Ian Creech says, greetings, world. Hope all is well with everyone. Better late than never. Absolutely. I'm glad you can make it. Wonder Bubble says, LOL, Yellowstone, the TV show is filmed in Northern California. Nowhere near Yellowstone or anything. Yeah, that's true. There's a bunch of shows that are set in places that are nowhere near where they're actually filmed. I think a lot of movies are filmed in Toronto. I know New York State will give big bonuses to like filmmakers and TV shows if they film here. Buffalo, I was surprised, has had a big resurgence in people filming movies and TV shows there. I assume because our current governor is from Buffalo, so. Could be a coincidence, though. Maybe I'm just seeing conspiracy theories where there aren't any. Big Pete says, no, I don't ride horses. Only more on bikes, but I still had hair back then and it was blonde, so I would have been a shoo-in, I'm sure. Yeah, that would have been cool. If you could, all you'd have to do is hang on tight and swing a sword around with one hand. You could definitely be a rider of Rohan. And PK says, Jesse Valinsky did the audiobook for Escape from the Dragon Czar. She did a great job. Are you planning on having her do any other books you write? I didn't even know she did Escape from the Dragon Czar until somebody mentioned it. That book is licensed to a publishing company called Tantor, and they're the ones that hired her. I'm glad to hear she did a good job. So that's very nice. If I ever have a series, with a female main character, I might have a woman do the audiobook. It's tricky though, because even if you have a female main character, there's a lot of male characters, and sometimes I don't know. I'd have to ask Joe about it, but I think it might be easier for a man to go higher in in tone to do a woman's voice than it would be for a woman to go lower or deeper, to do a man's voice. I don't actually know that. It's just a feeling I have. I always thought it would be cool to do like a thing where the man does the male parts and the woman does the female parts. Dual narration, they call it. But I'm not sure how what the logistics of that would be. So I haven't really looked into it too closely. But yeah, it's good to know her name, if I ever decide to do something like that. So Tanya Bell says, I believe the writers of Rohan were mostly women actors. So that's a cool fact. I did not know that. Brandon Shire says, currently my favorite voice is Vicus Adams. He voices the Soul Force saga. He does great male and female voices. Oh yeah, that's very cool. I'm actually hoping at the end of the year I start getting the Soul Force saga rights back. I'm hoping they'll return his recordings. I'm not sure. I might have to buy them from Podium, but I'd like to hear what he did and be able to post something. I mean, Joe's great, but I'd like to be able to post something a little bit different too on my channel. So we'll see how that works out. Big Pete says dual narration would be cool. Yeah, Joe mentioned he's done that a few times, so I might talk to him about it if I have a new project where it might be appropriate. So we'll see. It would definitely have to be for somebody more familiar. I'd have to get somebody more familiar with it than I am to tell me the best way. I suppose it would just be a matter of marking each scene with who the narrator is, whether it would be the man or a woman. But yeah, that'd be something fun to try with some project. We'll see. So many things I want to try, and only so many hours in the day, unfortunately. Of course, even if I had 30 hours in a day, I can only do so much before my brain starts to say, no mas, go watch something mindless on YouTube. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, my various projects. I got the Lightning back, Joe's version of it, so I'm thinking I'll maybe post that next month. So if anybody hasn't listened to it yet, it'll be clean, professionally recorded, no sound effects, and not my awful voice doing the narration. So that should be good. Gabriel says dual narration would cost more, though. Got to factor that in if it's worth it or not for you. Yeah, that was the other thing. I don't know how much extra it would be to have two voice actors. Since they wouldn't be working, I would have maybe try and do it so they're not working at the same time. So maybe it wouldn't be that much more if you only had, the woman do the scenes from the woman's point of view and the man doing the scenes from the man's point of view, but not like doing the individual voices, like a full cast audiobook would. But yeah, so many things to think about. Wonderbow says, good point. Definitely a good point. Ian Creed says, you mean dual narrative or dual narration? Dual narration, where you have a man doing the man part and a woman doing the woman parts. Logan Chase says, why not both? You mean both a dual narrative and a dual narration? Yeah, I don't know how that would work. But Ian Creech says, okay, cool. Yep. Sorry if I wasn't clear with my description. Sorry about that. I swear sometimes it seems like I feel like I'm saying something clearly, and I'm really not. So MPK says, do you watch TikToks or the YouTube equivalent? It's like magic. I turn the app on and the next thing I know, 5 hours have passed by. Time travel. I don't care for the vertical format. I don't know that I've ever even gone to TikTok. I don't have an account. Just, I don't know. Maybe it's interesting, but I prefer more long form content. I like to listen to history videos. Like Crusade stuff and further back and the Middle Ages and that kind of thing. It's a great way to get ideas for stories. Logan Chase says, imagine two narrators telling the same story from 2 points of view, and you only find out in the end who is really fighting on the good side. That sounds complicated, I'll be honest with you. I kind of do that a little bit when I weave villain points of view in with the hero points of view. But yeah, I don't know. When I write, it has to be, it has to come out organically, what I'm thinking about and what I'm working on. So I'm not sure if I could just, intentionally do something like that. Wonder Bubble says, when I read a real book, most of the mental voices sound like me. The male voices sound like James Earl Jones or Sean Connery. Sometimes having multiple other voices is distracting. Yeah, that's definitely true. You have to, it's always a balancing act. Some people like one thing, some people like another thing. I just try and make it as interesting as I can and hope for the best. Gabriel says, I'm the same. I prefer long form as well. You get more context to stuff as well because they're not pressed for time. Right. I'm listening to one that's the history of the Middle Ages. The history of the Dark Ages. It's 4.5 hours. The guy who made it, he had a bunch of shorter videos on it and he turned them all into one long. It's almost a historical audiobook. I don't even watch the screen. I just play it with the screen off or play it while I'm drawing or something. Ian Creed says, Timeline is a good YouTube channel if you like historical documentaries. Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. I think the one I was watching is called Heroes and Generals or something like that. Wonder Bubble says, for me, the most important part of any book is the story and how it's told. Yeah, that's definitely the most important part. The presentation can be important too. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with working with Joe. So anything else I try might just be for laughs. Just to try something. It's like my comic book. I've spent so much getting that thing made. I doubt I'll ever get my money back, but I've had so much fun doing it. It was totally worth it. Speaking of which, Joe's going to be recording the audio for the second installment of the comic book. When I get that from him, I'll send the pages and the audio to the guy that puts it together for me. I guess you'd call him my editor. So I can be posting that in the not too distant future. So that'll be fun, hopefully. MPK says, I like it when I spend a big portion of the book, sometimes of many books, thinking a person is the bad guy. Then when I get hit with a plot twist and find out he wasn't any worse than the main character. Yeah, I can't really remember a book where I saw that, but that's kind of cool. Wonder Bubble says most of the timeline is UK, but some of their episodes are Northern Europe, and they did one on dinosaur hunting in Montana. Oh, that's very cool. I'll have to check them out. I'm always looking for a new historical stuff to watch. So thanks very much for the recommendation. Let's see. Any other news I have to share? We got a wicked snowstorm last week. Lost power for about, 10 times. It flickered in and out Tuesday. And then for a couple hours in the evening, it went out. But other than that, Ian Creech says, do you mean Kings and Generals? I found that channel. It looks pretty good. Yes, thank you. Kings and Generals. I knew it was something with generals. Logan Chase says, my wife enjoys your books too. We listen while we drive. She's going to be mad she slept through the live stream. Well, there's always next week. Plus, and if she wants to pop onto the Discord and ask any questions, she's more than welcome. Well, we're getting on down towards our 1 hour mark. So if there's any last questions anybody wants to ask, now's the time to post them. Gabriel says, one of my favorite plot twists is when at the end you find out the hero was actually the bad guy after all, and we've just been seeing their biased perspective the whole story. That is an interesting plot twist, but I can't think of a book where that happens that I've read. If you can recommend one, I might like to check it out. Definitely on the Discord, though. That way I'll be able to find it in the book section. Let's see. MPK says, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is black. I also like gray, which is basically light black. It goes with everything. You don't have to think about it. Anything goes with anything else. I got the idea from Jurassic Park. I forget what his name is. He said he always wears black so he doesn't have to think about what he's going to put on in the morning. Wonder Bubble says, I like the concept too, but drawing a blank on specific titles. Yeah. It's weird when you just can't, when your mind goes blank. But it happens to me all the time, seemingly whenever I'm on one of these live streams. Okay. I am out of water and we're just about to the 1 hour mark. So I think I'm going to call this one good. It was great to see everybody. Thanks to all of you that stopped in, said hi, and asked questions and commented and everything. It was awesome to have you. Oh, here we go. Tanya says, do you have long hair? Maybe there's a glare from the window, but it looks like, yeah, I do. I have quite long hair. Always have. Heartblade says, thanks for the entertainment. See you next Sunday. Yep. See you guys all next Sunday. And talk to you next time. See you later.